Have you ever smiled and nodded when someone spoke to you in English while secretly panicking inside because you didn't understand a single word? Stop right there. Today, we are going to fix that. Welcome to our deep dive.
Yeah, that feeling of panic is, well, it's incredibly common no matter how long you've been learning a
Oh,
language.
absolutely.
But it is something we can, absolutely overcome with a few smart strategies.
Which is exactly the goal for today. We are looking at a really fantastic lesson from Rick's English channel.
It's a great one.
And our mission in this deep dive is to unpack the art of asking for help. But we're not just going to, hand you a vocabulary list.
Right, no one wants just a list.
Exactly. We're going to look at the psychology of how to navigate your confusion politely, confidently, and naturally. Because asking for help is not a weakness. It's actually a superpower for learning.
It really is. And what stands out immediately in Rick's lesson is the reminder that literally everyone needs help. I mean, beginners, students, tourists.
In native speakers.
Yes, even native speakers. We ask for help every single day. So the objective here is not to speak perfect English. The objective is to speak useful English and to feel comfortable doing it.
Let's start right at the beginning then. Before we can tackle complex misunderstandings, we have to actually start a conversation.
Right.
How do we initiate contact, especially with complete strangers? The lesson breaks down two fundamental questions. Can you help me, please? And could you help me, please? Now, my intuition tells me that could is somehow more formal. But what's the actual psychological difference there?
Well, your intuition is right on the mark. I mean, both phrases are perfectly good English. Can you help me is direct. It's efficient.
So good for everyday situations.
Exactly. It works great in places like a supermarket or with people you already have a casual connection with. But when you swap that word for could, you create a tiny bit of distance.
Distance.
Yeah, and in English, distance often equals respect.
Oh, interesting. So could is sort of the magic word when you're dealing with people you do not know at all.
Precisely. It's softer. When you approach a busy airport worker or maybe a receptionist at a clinic or a teacher saying, "Could you help me, please?" signals an elevated level of politeness.
You're showing them you get it.
Right, you're acknowledging that they are busy and you are treating their time with respect.
And there's another crucial phrase Rick points out that has to happen before you even ask that question, which is, excuse me.
Essential.
So the full sentence should be, excuse me, could you help me, please?
Yeah.
I always like to think of this with the physical analogy. Saying, excuse me, is a lot like knocking on a closed door before you walk into a room.
Oh, I like that.
Right. Like, you would never just barge straight into someone's private office and start making demands.
No, of course not. You knock first to politely announce your presence. You give them a chance to look up from their desk and invite you in.
Right. It's almost like you're disarming them. By not demanding their time up front without a warning, they drop their guard. They naturally want to step in and be helpful.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, is adding these polite markers really just about following the strict rules of English grammar? Or is it more about managing human behavior?
Honestly, it is entirely about human behavior and lowering defenses.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you approach a stranger, their brain is subconsciously asking, is this person a threat? Are they going to waste my time?
Wow, just instantly evaluating you.
Right. And by saying, excuse me and please, you immediately answer no to both of those questions. You're showing that you aren't demanding their attention, you are requesting it.
That makes so much sense.
That polite approach makes the other person feel valued rather than used. And, well, a valued person is a helpful person.
Okay, so once the guard is down and you've knocked on the door with, excuse me, how do we actually articulate what we need?
Well, there are two great frameworks in the lesson for locating things. The first one is, I'm looking for.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking for is a phrase you will use constantly when traveling.
Constantly. It simply means you want to find a general category of a place or a thing. I'm looking for the bathroom. I'm looking for the train station.
Or I'm looking for a good coffee shop.
Exactly. It states your goal clearly.
And then there's the second framework, which is slightly different. I can't find...
Right. You use I can't find when you know a specific thing exists, and it's usually yours, or it's a specific destination, but it's, currently lost to you.
I can't find my ticket.
Yes. Or I can't find gate 12. It communicates a slightly more urgent need for assistance because something is missing.
Got it. So knocking on the door and asking for the bathroom is the easy part. But here is the real challenge. You ask your perfectly polite question, and the stranger turns to you and responds. But what happens when their response is just a massive wall of fast, incomprehensible English?
Ah, yes, this brings us right back to that feeling of absolute panic we mentioned at the start.
Yes. Let's talk about the smile and nod. Rick's lesson gives a very strong warning about this habit. When learners don't understand, they often just freeze, smile, say yes, yes, and pretend everything is fine.
While their brain is screaming on the inside.
Exactly. Why do we all do this?
Because the social pressure in those moments is just immense. I mean, imagine you're at the front of a line at a busy grocery store, or you're asking a bus driver a question while people are waiting behind you.
Oh, I'm already stressed just thinking about it.
Right. We have a deep psychological urge to not be a burden. We don't want to look foolish, and we really don't want to be the slow person holding up the line.
So true.
So the brain's defense mechanism is to just smile, agree, and escape the situation as quickly as possible.
But the lesson points out how dangerous that escape can be. I mean, if you smile and nod at the airport gate agent, you might miss your flight.
Yep.
If you smile and nod at your boss, you might completely mess up an important project.
Exactly. Let's actually demonstrate this. Imagine you're on the street, you ask for directions, and the person says, yeah, you just gotta go down 3 blocks, take a left at the light. It's right next to the coffee shop. You can't miss it.
Whoa. Just hearing you do that makes my heart rate go up.
Right.
It just sounds like one giant continuous word. So, how do we break out of that trap? What's the alternative to the smile and nod?
Well, the first step is entirely internal. You have to notice that your body is tensing up. When that wall of sound hits you, don't panic.
Easier said than done.
True. But take a deliberate deep breath, stop nodding your head, and then you have to be honest. You use a simple, polite sentence to stop the train. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Admitting that out loud, especially to a native speaker, I mean, that takes a lot of bravery. It feels incredibly vulnerable.
It does feel vulnerable, but think about what happens the moment you say it. You are no longer a passive victim letting fast English wash over you.
That's a good point.
You've just taken control of the flow of the conversation. You've signaled to the other person that they need to, recalibrate their communication.
Which gives us the opportunity to use some specific tools to control that flow. Like if you just missed a single word, you can say, can you say that again, please?
Or could you repeat that, please?
Yeah. But I want to talk about the big one. Can you speak more slowly, please?
Okay.
I'm going to push back on this one. I feel like if I look a native speaker in the eye and ask them to speak more slowly, it feels like I'm insulting their intelligence or like criticizing the way they talk. Isn't that considered rude?
That is a very, very common fear. And it goes right back to that anxiety about being a burden. But it's a total misconception.
Really?
Asking someone to slow down, as long as you do it politely, is absolutely not rude. You have to remember the psychology of the speaker, too. People speak fast because it's their natural default speed.
They're just used to it.
Exactly. They are on autopilot. They are intentionally trying to confuse you.
They don't even realize they sound like a runaway train.
Precisely. So when you ask nicely, can you speak more slowly, please? You're not criticizing them. You're waking them up from autopilot. You're inviting them to team up with you. You're basically saying, I want to understand you, but I need you to help me do it. It's a request for teamwork.
I really like framing it as teamwork rather than a failure on my part. Now, assuming they do team up with you and they slow down, Rick's channel suggests a fantastic strategy to ensure you actually got the message.
Yes, this is huge.
You don't just stand there and listen, right? You actively check your understanding by repeating the key pieces of information back to them.
This is a critical active listening skill. Let's imagine a scenario at a doctor's office. You go to the receptionist and they say, your appointment is at 3:15, but please arrive 10 minutes early and bring your ID card.
Wow.
Even spoken slowly, that is a high volume of data to process in a second language.
Yeah, a time, a rule about arriving early, and an item to bring. That's a lot to juggle.
Right. So instead of just saying, okay, you verify it. You look at them and say, 3:15. They say yes. You say 10 minutes early. They say yes.
Bring my ID card.
Yes.
So you're building a bridge of understanding, word by word. And you're proving to the speaker that their effort to slow down is actually working, which makes them feel good about helping you.
Exactly. It's rewarding for them, too.
But let's shift gears a bit. Sometimes the problem is not the vocabulary at all. You can understand every single word a person says, but still be completely lost in the physical environment.
That is a very crucial distinction. Navigating a language is only half the battle. Navigating physical tasks and like modern digital spaces is the other half.
The lesson highlights a great phrase for this. Can you show me?
Yes.
This is a purely action-oriented request. You use this when you need visual guidance. The example they use is staring at a foreign train ticket machine. You might know all the words on the screen, but you have no idea what the physical process is to actually get the ticket out of the machine.
And in that moment, asking, can you explain it, might just result in more confusing language.
Right.
But if you say, I don't know how to buy a ticket, can you show me? Yeah, you're inviting someone to physically guide you. A friendly stranger can literally point their finger, first press this button, then tap your card here.
Makes total sense.
Can you show me? Is the perfect tool for operating physical objects or even navigating websites where you just don't know where to click.
Which leads right into another action-oriented phrase. What should I do?
Another great one.
The example here is a hotel check-in. The receptionist hands you a blank piece of paper and says, please fill out this form. Now, you know what a form is, but you don't know if they want your home address, your passport number, or your license plate. You need instructions.
So you ask, what should I do?
Right, and that specific question prompts the receptionist to give you a sequence of steps. They'll say, write your name at the top, sign at the bottom, and date it.
The lesson also applies this to technology, like logging into a new mobile app. If you ask, what should I do? They tell you the sequence. Enter your email, then your password, then hit login.
You know, it reminds me of the difference between asking for ingredients versus asking for a recipe when you're baking a cake.
Oh, how so?
Well, if you just ask, can you help me? It's like saying, I need flour and sugar. You just need general assistance. But if you ask, what should I do? You're asking for the step-by-step recipe to actually bake the cake yourself.
I love that. That analogy really highlights the empowerment behind the phrase. When you ask for the recipe, step 1, step 2, step 3, you're asking for the knowledge to complete the action independently.
Yes.
It moves you from being dependent on their help to being capable of doing it yourself the next time.
Okay, so we've covered how to initiate contact, how to stop the fast-talking panic, and how to ask for action-oriented steps. But context matters. The way you speak to a receptionist at a hotel is obviously very different from how you speak to a close friend. How do we adjust our language when the formality drops?
Well, when you're with friends or colleagues you know well or classmates, you can drop the formal, excuse me, could you please? The lesson notes several casual expressions that sound very natural. One of the best ones is, can you give me a hand?
I have to mention the joke the hosts in Rick's video make about this, because it highlights a classic language learner confusion.
Oh, the literal translation one.
Yes, one of them jokingly asks, wait, give me a hand, like cut off your actual hand and give it to me.
It's a great point about idioms. It does not mean a literal hand, obviously. If you're struggling to carry a heavy box up a flight of stairs, you look at your friend and say, can you give me a hand?
It just means help.
Right. It simply means, can you share your physical effort with me?
There's another variation they mention, can you help me out? Which means the exact same thing as can you help me? But for some reason, tacking the word out onto the end just instantly makes it sound more relaxed.
It really does.
Like, can you help me out with this math problem? Or can you help me out with my computer?
It softens the request. It makes it sound more conversational and less like an urgent plea for rescue.
Now, whether it's a stranger who just showed you how to buy a subway ticket or a friend who just helped you carry a heavy box, the interaction always has to end with gratitude.
Always.
And the lesson breaks down a hierarchy of ways to say thank you, depending on the situation.
A simple thank you or thank you so much is always appropriate. But there is a phrase they highlight that I think is incredibly powerful. That helps a lot.
Why is that one so powerful? It sounds pretty simple.
Well, because it provides validation. Human beings have a core need to feel useful. When you say, that helps a lot, you're not just being polite. You are confirming to the other person that their time and effort actually solved your problem.
Oh, that makes sense.
You're validating their contribution, which makes them feel great.
It's a return on their investment of time. And for those moments when someone goes above and beyond, let's say a coworker spends an hour helping you fix a massive spreadsheet error, or a stranger helps you find your lost wallet, there's a heavier, more advanced phrase. I really appreciate it.
Yes, I really appreciate it. Carries emotional weight. It tells the person that you don't just recognize the action, but you deeply value the kindness behind the action.
But we also have to live in reality. Sometimes you gather up all your bravery, you knock on the door, you ask for help politely,
And they say no.
and the person just can't help you. Maybe they're rushing to catch a train, or they genuinely just don't know where the museum is. How do we handle that rejection gracefully without feeling defeated?
The phrase Rick's channel provides is essential for maintaining the social contract. You simply smile and say, "That's okay, thank you anyway."
Thank you anyway. Meaning, I'm thanking you just for stopping and listening to me.
Exactly. It shows that you respect their time, even if they couldn't provide the solution. It ensures the interaction ends politely, which prevents you from feeling discouraged the next time you need to ask someone else.
And we should remember to flip the script too. As you gain confidence and your English improves, you are going to find yourself on the other side of this interaction.
That's the best part.
Right. Tourists or newer learners are going to start asking you for help. When they do, the lesson gives us a few natural ways to respond. You can say a simple, "Sure," or "Of course."
Or, if you want to sound very friendly and casual, you say, "No problem."
And if a friend thanks you for your help, you can say "anytime," which is a wonderful way of saying, "I'm always here for you."
When you look at the entire spectrum of what we've discussed today, the careful politeness of could, the honesty of admitting you don't understand, the validation of that helps a lot, a very clear theme emerges. Rick's channel actually states it beautifully. English is not only grammar, it is also kindness.
That is a fantastic way to frame it. English is kindness.
It's a profound realization for anyone learning a language. When you ask for help politely and you thank people genuinely, you are creating a positive feedback loop of transactional kindness.
I love that.
The stranger feels good because they were helpful. You feel good because you understood. And that positive emotional experience actually rewires your brain to feel less anxiety the next time you need to speak. The kindness makes the difficult process of learning a language sustainable.
So, what does this all mean for you listening right now? The biggest takeaway from our deep dive today is a shift in perspective. Asking for help is not a sign that your English is bad. It's not a sign of weakness.
Not at all.
The lesson uses a very specific word. Asking for help is brave.
It's the definition of bravery. Many learners choose to wait silently in confusion because they feel shy or, afraid of looking foolish. But bravery means feeling that fear of the wall of fast English and choosing to speak up anyway.
And that bravery pays dividends.
Yeah.
Every single time you ask a stranger for directions or ask a cashier to speak more slowly, you are practicing. You're using the language to solve a real-world problem.
Exactly. As the lesson says, one small sentence today, more confidence tomorrow. It's the ultimate survival strategy for navigating the world.
Which brings me to a final, slightly provocative thought I want to leave you with today. We spend so much of our time studying vocabulary and grammar because we're trying to avoid confusion, right?
Right.
We want every interaction to be smooth and effortless. But if asking for help actually accelerates our learning, builds our confidence, and creates these positive loops of kindness, could intentionally putting ourselves in confusing situations actually be the greatest secret hack to fluency?
Wait, you mean deliberately getting lost?
Exactly. Think about it. What if you deliberately walked into a new transit station without looking at your map app first?
Yeah.
You're engineering a situation where you're forced to walk up to a stranger, knock on the verbal door, and say, "Excuse me, could you help me, please? I'm looking for the ticket machine."
Oh,
You're using the real world as your training ground for bravery.
it completely flips the script. Instead of waiting for a classroom to teach you how to handle the world, you are turning the world into your classroom.
Yes. So here is your call to action for today. I want you to think about your own daily routine. Where is the one place you most frequently find yourself feeling confused or needing assistance?
Is it navigating the self-checkout at the grocery store? Is it trying to figure out a new software program at the office?
Or is it simply trying to follow the fast conversations at a coffee shop? Identify that specific place, and then decide right now which of today's survival sentences you are going to use the very next time you're there.
Will you ask someone to speak more slowly? Will you ask them to show you how a machine works? Pick your tool and be ready to deploy it.
And the next time a native speaker hits you with 100 words a minute, I want you to remember that panicking feeling. Notice the urge to smile and nod. Feel your head starting to bob up and down.
But don't do it.
Right, catch yourself in that moment. Take a deep breath. Stop nodding. Look them in the eye and bravely say, "I'm sorry, I don't understand." You have the tools now to take control of the conversation. You do not have to hide in the silence anymore. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Go out there and start knocking on some doors.